If you're an avid golf fan like me, you probably know who Matt Kuchar is. But if you're a little more casual or you only watch the majors, there's a good chance you didn't know who he was. If you don't know who Kuchar is, Kuchar's persona is best summed up with, simply put, Kuchar is the nice guy on tour. He doesn't swear or break clubs. Hell, this is about as fired up as he gets. So, how could such a good guy ever be looked at in a negative light? Well, Kuchar has not always acted like golf's golden boy. Let's go back to November 2018. Matt Kuchar was currently the 40th ranked golfer in the official world golf rankings. He was coming off a season where he finished in the top 10 three times and only missed a handful of cuts. Heading into the Mayakoba Golf Classic in Mexico, Kuchar likely wasn't anticipating a great week. Not because he hadn't won on tour since 2014, but since he would be without his regular caddy for the tournament, meaning he was going to hire a local caddy as his looper for the week. The caddy he hired was David Ortiz, also known as El Toucan. The two were paired by the tournament director, but without his usual guy on the bag, expectations were likely low for Kuchar. Still, after 2 rounds, Kuchar was happy with Ortiz, and during that week, the strangest thing happened. Kuchar won the tournament. It was a fairy tale week for both the golfer and the caddy, with Kuchar even calling Ortiz his lucky charm. But what happened next turned Kuchar's big win into his biggest controversy yet. For context, on the PGA Tour, caddies usually end up with 5 to 10% of the players' winnings for the week. Kuchar raked in a smooth $1.3 million with his win. Naturally, one would think Kuchar's lucky charm would have gotten a nice payday from this, but that wasn't the case. It was revealed that Ortiz was paid a measly $5,000. While that is a lot of money, considering how much Kuchar made and how Ortiz had been part of the big win, it was honestly disrespectful. Understandably, this upset Ortiz, who said he would not want to work for Kuchar at the following year's tournament. Ortiz would even reach out to Kuchar's agent, asking for more money to help support his family, to which he was offered an additional $15,000. Strangely, Ortiz would decline this, apparently offended by the offer. Now, let's do the math here. Let's say Kuchar decided to only pay the 5% minimum that caddies typically get paid by players during a week. He would still have owed $65,000. Instead, what he was offering was less than 2%, and what he actually paid was less than 1. Kuchar's agent denied the claim initially, but after public outcry, Kuchar offered an additional $45,000 to the caddy for a total of $50,000, and reportedly the two made peace. It's important to note that this is still less than the 5% minimum that's typical, and it's also important to note money was not an issue for Kuchar, who had made over $46 million in prize money over his career, and at the time was 10th on the career money list. Kuchar sliding Ortiz upset a lot of people. What also upset people was Kuchar saying this about the payment. Kuchar would later apologize for that, and Ortiz would later go on to reiterate that he was content and not angry with Kuchar. Still, this of course set up a good opportunity to poke fun at the golfer.
I'm still mad. I mean, Roy was just telling me he passed me by 2 points. 2 points is $300,000 over 2 points.
We all know what money means to him, so.
Fair.
And it also made people question Kuchar's nice guy persona. But this wasn't Kuchar's only controversy. Let's fast forward to present day, early August to be specific. It's the Wyndham Championship, a tournament that was delayed by weather, with a Monday finish looking inevitable. But the grounds crew got the course ready, and the players, thanks to early starts and 3-man pairings, were looking like they may finish on Sunday. Now let's set up some additional context. Kuchar is playing in the final group alongside Chad Ramey and 54-hole leader Max Gracerman. Kuchar struggled on Sunday, and despite being in the final group, he was really never in contention. However, his playing partner, Max Gracerman, was, and even held a 4-shot lead after 13 holes. But over the next 3 holes, Gracerman would make a quadruple bogey, then a birdie, then 4-putt for a double bogey on the 16th hole. In just an hour, Gracerman went from holding a 4-shot lead to trailing eventual winner Aaron Rai. But how does Kuchar relate to all this? Well, due to threesome pairings and some slower play by Aaron Rai in the group ahead, things weren't moving particularly fast. On top of that, they were trying to beat the sun to get the tournament in and avoid a Monday finish. With this in mind, on the 18th hole, with the leader Aaron Rai in the fairway ahead, going through his routine for the most important shot of the tournament, suddenly Kuchar, for some reason, hits into them. Luckily, Kuchar misfired bad and ended up left of the trees on 18. But his antics didn't stop there. As the group ahead finished up, Kuchar was told by the rules official that the theoretical horn was blown, meaning if the final group wanted to, they could mark their balls and finish up in the morning. Ramey, and more notably Gracerman, who still had an outside chance to force a playoff, decided to finish the hole, but Kuchar decided otherwise. A stunned and confused CBS crew tried to put the pieces together as Kuchar decided that just he would mark and finish the next morning. Again, this would be maybe reasonable if he wasn't in the final group, meaning he would be the only golfer finishing in the morning. Kuchar was also not in contention to win, sitting just outside of the top 10. Twitter, of course, went crazy as fans were frustrated for those working the tournament, as they now had to come in early the next day after working so hard to get it in on Sunday. Fans also wanted to know why Kuchar did this. Kuchar wouldn't answer that question till the following morning. The CBS cameras weren't rolling when Kuchar finished that Monday, but some reporters filmed as Kuchar made par from his tee shot, thanks in part to getting some questionable relief. When talking to reporters, Kuchar said he was trying to set an example for Max, and argued the horn should have blown 2 holes before. Kuchar felt Gracerman's chances were blown, thanks to how the tournament was handled. On the surface, this seems reasonable, but the sun hadn't set when Kuchar wanted it to be blown, and Gracerman himself didn't make a stink about the entire situation. On top of that, Gracerman himself wasn't sure why Kuchar did this, saying Kuchar never even said a word to him. So, is this the real reason Kuchar did all this? Well, another point some have brought up is Kuchar's payout. A bogey at the last would have cost him more than $65,000, which is a lot. But with the guy currently 10th on the PGA all-time career money list, it's hard to imagine it meant that much to him. But again, as Rory has said,
We all know what money means to him, so.
Kuchar has received a ton of flack for this decision, with some questioning his true motive to make everyone return the following day just for him to hit 3 shots. And this only added to the questions around Kuchar's true character. Is Kuchar the tour's nice guy? Maybe not, but I do think there are a few guys far worse. Still, these situations have raised some questions on his true character, as people try to figure out if Kuchar's nice guy persona is truly him or just a mask.